Hi, it's Pastor Robin here at Metropolitan Community Church of Richmond on the afternoon of Sunday, November 7th, 2010. We celebrated today All Saints Sunday, where we remembered the loved ones of many of our members and friends, these loved ones who have died in the past year, who touched at least one of us and maybe many of us by their spirit and by the presence of the grace that they carried with them and the wisdom and the caring they gave to us. And so we remembered them. We also honored veterans today on the Sunday before Veterans Day, recognizing that they share many gifts and have stood up sometimes at the ultimate sacrifice to actually serve our country and help spread and maintain liberty in the world. So we were grateful to acknowledge them with loud applause. I preached today about, in the third part of a three-part series, Who is Righteous? And drawing upon the readings for All Saints Sunday from Luke chapter 6, commonly called the Beatitudes, I talked about how we do rely always, if we are faithful and righteous, we rely on the grace of God for every part of our lives, and we respond faithfully to that grace. And one of the ways we respond is by sharing what we have received, sharing the grace that has been poured in us, that others may feel it as well. And so that is part of being righteous, is sharing that grace. And I talked some about how it appears in that reading of Luke chapter 6 that Jesus may be against the rich. And I said, I don't think that's true. That actually, although he sides with the poor, which is he got that clearly from the Hebrew scripture, which is just loaded with preferences for the poor, caring for the poor. And Jesus continues that message very strongly. It doesn't mean he's against the rich. What I believe means is that he doesn't want any of us who have privilege of whatever kind it is over someone else, that we don't exercise that privilege in such a way that we ignore the needs of other people who don't share the privilege. In other words, if we're straight, we don't pretend gay people don't exist. If we're white, we don't pretend or ignore the needs of black people. And if we're rich, we don't ignore the needs of the poor. And I continue to talk about that theme for us as a church, wanting us to understand that we have very much riches as a church. That we are not a wealthy church by any means. We have a big building, but it doesn't cost us a great deal. And we actually have, not the easiest time of making all the ends meet. But at the same time, we have been so blessed. We've been blessed by the church building itself, by all the saints who've come along through the 32 years of this church, and also by all who come today. And by just the fact that we're together and able to share God with each other. So we're rich. And so I believe that what Jesus is saying when he says, blessed are the poor and woe to the rich, I believe what he is really saying is, if you're not sharing that riches that you have, then woe to you, because the poor are blessed and you're supposed to do the blessing. And that's what we talked about today. So as we go forward, next week we have a very different kind of worship, or a very different kind of sermon or message I'm going to give. We ain't seen nothing yet, and it will be based on some readings about how God blesses us and has a brand new day for us. It happens to be also the Sunday of our congregational meeting, and we do believe that we ain't seen nothing yet. We're just begun at MCC Richmond. I hope you'll join us either in the service at 2501 Park Avenue, or here on this small video segment, or to listen to the sermon that was preached this week, and the sermon I'll preach next week at our website, www.mccrichmond.org. May you know God's blessing today. May you trust in the grace of God, and may you continue in every way you can to share that grace with all around you. Be blessed.